In this video, I'll be checking out the UHD AI box from CarlinKit. You may have seen my previous video where I've covered the 660 version. This particular one is the 6225. So I will be comparing this to the 660, and by the end of this video, you'll know which is the best one to go for. Okay, let's quickly check out what comes inside the box. Okay, so here's what you get inside the box. You get quite a thorough user manual. You have the UHD AI box itself. You get two power cables. You get one USB-C to C and one USB-A to C. There is a full-size HDMI to mini HDMI adapter. There's a SIM card removal tool to not only reset the box, but also swap this adapter from either using CarPlay platform or Android Auto platform. Right, looking at the box then, it's going to be pretty much a rinse and repeat of my last video. However, there is one difference. Although the box is going to be very similar to the 660 version, they both have the same USB-C ports to power the adapter. You got a SIM card slot for providing internet to the adapter, and then you also get a TF card slot for expanding media, as well as storage for apps and games. There is no difference on the back, even though the ID numbers are exactly the same, but the big difference is going to be on the left-hand side. Now, the bottom one here is the 6225 version. This comes with a sticker. I don't know why they cover the HDMI port with this sticker. Kind of makes you feel that it's not meant to be used. Let's take that sticker off. You can see here the port location is exactly the same, but the 660 version comes with an USB media input and the 6225 does not. Now, that's not a massive deal breaker in my opinion, because if you want to expand storage or if you want to actually provide media for the AI box or expand it, you can do that through the TF card slot. And it's going to give you a cleaner install as well, because you're not going to have this USB drive or cable sticking out of this USB port on the 660. So not having that port is definitely not a deal breaker here. But that's a quick overview of the two adapters. The 660 is basically the slower chipset, and the 6225 it is a little bit faster. It's definitely faster than the 6125 chipsets. So I'd say the 660 would probably much sit in between the 6125 that would be sitting here. Then you got the 660, and then you got the 6225, which is a little bit quicker. And if you pair it with the same memory, it's going to run apps pretty much very similar too. But with that extra horsepower you're going to get on the 6225, things are going to load up a little bit quicker, and the whole thing's just going to be a little bit snappier. Now, it's not going to be night and day difference, but when the price is so close, right now the 6225 is actually cheaper than the 660. So before we go in the car and actually demo everything, it just makes sense on paper that this 6225 being cheaper slightly is probably the one to go for. But let's find that out by jumping in the car and seeing how well these two operate. So I'll see you there. Right, so we're in the Bourne and we've got the 6225 UHD from CarlinKit here, as well as the 660. I'm going to give them both a little bit of a shootout to see which one's best. So we're going to first plug in the 660 and see how quickly it takes to boot up. Let's just plug it in. And we're into the main menu interface. Now we're into the main menu interface. So everything's all loaded up now. I've got a much more high resolution screen than what you're used to seeing on this channel. So we're going to see a lot more icons, a lot more things that you can actually navigate through and play with. So that's the 660 boot. We'll do a couple of launches just to show you what it takes to launch into the various apps, or at least our test apps. So first of all, we're going to start with Maps. And that's us into Maps. We're going to go home, force close all the memory, which is going to close all the apps from memory. And then we're going to go into Spotify. And that's how quickly it takes to get into Spotify. And we're going to do the same again, home and clear. I'm going to check out YouTube. That's us into YouTube. And we'll do, whilst we're in YouTube, we're going to go into our Twitch and check out the delay. Okay, that's the Twitch delay. Let's do audio delay on lip sync. Wireless CarPlay dongles have slowly progressed over the years, and we are now seeing makers switch their focus towards the 2-in-1 wireless CarPlay adapters, which offer the ability to also pair with Android Auto devices too. But that's for another video. Okay, so that's lip sync. Really, really good actually compared to my Golf system. this is all in sync now and really, really good. So very happy with that on the 660. Let's come out of YouTube and clear the memory, and then we'll just do the last one, which is Netflix. And that's the time it takes to get into the Netflix section. Once we're into here, we'll just do a quick test of audio.
The overtake and Valtteri created this spark and this tension between the two of us.
That was committed, it was brave, it was brilliant.
That all sounds good as well. In sync, stereo, totally fine. Happy with that. We can do a quick test of gaming. How quickly it gets into Crossy Road. No audio problems this time, as I did with the Golf, so that's good as well. Bit of a stutter there on launch, but and the navigation is pretty good. Interaction is good as well, not much lag there. Happy with just generally how it looks and how it performs. So that is the 660, and I'll flash up the benchmarks for the 660 as well. But let's now jump into the 6225 and run those same tests again. And then we're going to reconnect. And we're into the main, no. Now we're into the main menu interface. You can see that actual launch sidebar launched a little bit quicker than the 660. So that's almost an instant comparison of the extra speed that you're getting from this chipset. Okay, so now we're into the 6225 main menu. We're running that same style, so it's going to be exactly the same. And now we're going to launch Maps. So that's us into Google Maps. Again, it's all going to look pretty cool. There is no pinch and zoom on the AI boxes, sadly, and the 660 will be pretty much exactly the same. So that's Google Maps. Going to clear all the memory. Now we're going to go into Spotify. That's the time it takes to get into Spotify. Whilst we're here, you can do a sound test. That all sounds good, and wheel controls are going to work. Wheel controls. And if I hold down the voice button, it's going to try and interact with Google Assistant. So it's picking up my voice totally fine. That's playing in the background, all fine. And if I go to the now playing, that's also showing, and you can interact with that particular tile, which is quite cool. Never actually checked that last time. And now let's jump into YouTube. That's us into YouTube. We can go back to the last video we checked and compare the Twitch. Seems to be messing around the display of that little thing. It's a bit odd. I've not actually seen that before. Let's step this down a resolution. Actually, it already is 480. Let's try higher picture quality, see if that improves. Still doing 480. Let's do 1080p. Yeah, that's a bit odd.
Wireless CarPlay dongles have slowly progressed over the years, and we are now seeing makers switch their focus towards the 2-in-1 wireless CarPlay.
That's a big surprise. That's really bad.
To also pair
so
with Android.
Why is that bad? Let's come out of YouTube and just quickly go to the Play Store and just make sure that we're running the latest YouTube update. So it's just updating Google Chrome. So we're running the latest version of YouTube, but YouTube really stinks on this particular adapter. And I don't know why. I really thought the 6225 will be better at this. It doesn't seem to like it. Yeah, that's strange. It really is struggling. And that's a big surprise. So one last time, let's just check out the lip sync and how bad that was. to also pair with Android Auto devices too. But that's for another video. In this video, I will focus on wireless it's Apple CarPlay constantly skipping adapters. So let's find out which and all sorts. Everything is fine here. We could try and step it down, but honestly, it should cope, no problem. Wireless CarPlay dongles have slowly progressed over the years, and we are now seeing makers switch their focus towards the 2-in-1 wireless CarPlay adapters, which offer. So that's good. That matches the 660. We're going to up the resolution and just see what the quality is like there. In this video, can it cope? Wireless CarPlay dongles have slowly progressed over the years, and we are now seeing makers switch their focus towards the 2-in-1. 720p, it does seem to struggle a little bit, so we're going to jump up to 1080p. It's not really going to do it, but you know, it's worth trying these things out. Wireless CarPlay dongles have slowly progressed over the years, and we are now seeing it's really bad. So that's a really big surprise. The 660 didn't have a problem all the way up to 1080p. Not a problem. I'm kind of doubting myself now. I feel like I need to revisit the 660 just to make sure. Okay, so that's YouTube. So that's a big surprise generally between the two adapters. I honestly thought the 6225 would handle it better. And I will have to revisit another 6225 adapter just to compare again, because it might be a problem with that chipset. So I jumped back in the Bourne and I tested a few other AI boxes that ran the same 6225 chipset. This included the MMB 5.0, the Bernese LED Magic Box, and the Exploiter Apple Pi AI 996E. Both the Apple Pi and the MMB AI boxes had no problem playing back YouTube video at 1080p 60. However, the Bernese LED Magic Box encountered exactly the same issues as the CarlinKit UHD 6225 version, which is no surprise because the Bernese and the CarlinKit feature exactly the same hardware inside. So it's not necessarily a fault of the chipset itself, because in my test there are some AI boxes running this chipset that had no problem running YouTube at 1080p 60. So that's YouTube. Let's carry on, and then finally we'll load up Netflix. And that's the Netflix speed. And we'll just dip back into that video again.
The overtake undoubtedly created this spark and this tension between the two of us.
That was committed, it was brave, it was brilliant.
Okay, pretty much the same as the 660. I'd say it did seem to buffer a little bit better, so the quality was a little bit sharper. But in terms of its delay, it wasn't as bad as the YouTube situation that we just had earlier. So Netflix is totally fine for the 6225. So that is the 6225. We'll just do a bit of gaming. So you can see how quickly it gets into the game. A little bit of an audio glitch there, but we're into the main menu. Bit of stuttering there. Bit of an audio. It's quite a bit of a delay. Can you hear that crackling? And the delay in the feedback isn't as good. So obviously it makes it harder to play. Yeah. That's really a big surprise. It's like there's something going on in the background of the software that's really using up all the resources, and that's really big frustration, because I really did think this would do a lot better. So can we play this in a competitive way? No, not that well. Yep, that's playable. Quite low quality, low resolution in the assets in this game because of the probably detected the performance and stepped that down. And that is the majority of apps I'm wishing to show you at the moment. We can go into CarPlay and things like that. You go into AutoKit to be able to do this. Let's do this anyway. Just for giggles, we can go into T-Box UHD. Allow. Now, what am I connected to here? I think I'm actually connected to my Cupra. It looks a little bit blurry, so maybe I am connected to the right one here. Seems like I am, but we're into the adapter and there will be a bit of a delay in wireless CarPlay over an AI box. It's never perfect compared to native. So we go into the map, do a little bit of a wiggle. That seems to be okay. Pretty much standard for AI boxes. It's picking up the resolution okay. Let's do a Spotify test.
Here we are, back on the hot, muggy streets of New York.
So between 1 to 2 seconds on the audio switching. Wheel controls all work good. And if I hold the button down, it's going to trigger Siri fine as well.
Go ahead.
Hi, this is Anthony from CarPlayLife.com. This is an audio test using the CarlinKit UHD 6225 edition. And this is an audio test. Okay, that sounded quite good. Picking up the microphone of my car interior. Happy with that. Let's do a call test. Hello?
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 Quite a bit of a delay there on the calling, but the quality was good. That's the kind of thing you kind of expect with an AI box and using wireless CarPlay over it. And we're going to go over to Android Auto. We're going to go into Bluetooth and find the T-box there. So we're going to connect, pair, allow. Now we're into Android Auto. Quality looks good. It's not that stretched out, if at all, actually. We're into the main menu interface. Here we can, it's nice and sharp. You can make that full screen. And it's picking us the touches okay. A little bit of a lag there. Here we can bring in some music. That all sounds good. A lot less delay than CarPlay is on this particular one. And that all sounds good. Let's do a call test. Hello?
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 Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Hello? Hello?
Okay, about 1 second delay there in the calling. Whether that will bother you or not, it's up to you on that one. But I find that okay. And it's going to be pretty much standard on these AI boxes anyway. Okay, let's come out of Android Auto and plug in a micro SD card into the adapter so we can test out some video. So we've got the SD card here. Now we can go to VLC. That's picked up our little SIM card. We'll try out this trailer.
War is inevitable. One must destroy in order to create. We are no Jedi.
Okay, that's quite good and in sync. Happy with that. We can try Avatar as well. It's not going full screen, unfortunately. There is still a little bit of bordering going on. We can try that, fit to screen. That's a lot better. So let's just get rid of. So that's much nicer. Fills the screen there. Especially on this screen, it's all nicely filled. Slight little black borders top and bottom, but other than that, it's really nice to see. Let's see the frame rate when they do this, the bank, in a minute. Yeah, happy with that. So that's video from the TF card. Now, remember, you don't have the USB drive on the 6225. You do have it on the 660. So it just depends on how you consume your media and the media that you use to consume it from, whether it's a USB drive or a TF card. It's not really going to be that much difference. And it's less one thing sticking out if you were to use a USB drive, if you were to favor the TF card. So I think that's going to be a little bit better. Now I ran the benchmarks of the 6225 and I'll throw that up now. And honestly, it's night and day. Well, it's not night and day, but it is better thanks to the extra grunt from the CPU. So in theory, gaming should be better. But as you've seen with Crossy Road, it really did suffer with that. I really don't know why, because the CPU should take that and do a lot better from it, but it hasn't, and that's a little bit worrying. And we've seen YouTube struggle with that too. So I came here thinking that the 6225 will be better and you should go for the 6225, and I have said in the comments, go for the 6225, but from what I've seen, unless I've got a really bad unit sent to me, I honestly think that the 660 is probably better out of the two, and that is saying something, because as you've seen in the last couple of minutes, it is better in YouTube, it's better in a few other ways, but my stamps down below and the comparisons might show different. So it does benchmark better generally overall, but it comes down to the kind of content that you'll be using. So it's been a bit of a strange one. The pricing is very similar on this adapter. It's about 154 at the moment, and I think the other one's 159. The 660, it's a little bit more money. Going from my experience today, I'd say the 660 is actually better, even though I've been pedaling the 6225. It's purely based on the benchmarks, really. It is more capable, so it should be a little bit snappier in certain areas, and we have seen in this video that it is better in some areas. But if you are using it for YouTube, for example, and certain types of games, you have seen the 6225 does struggle a little bit over the 660. I was able to play games a little bit better with the 660, oddly. So there are other things that this adapter can do. You can connect it to HDMI, as you've seen with the 660. That should be exactly the same. You can connect Bluetooth controllers to it, no problem. We can even test that out with Call of Duty. So we can connect our Xbox controller here. So we are playing now with the controller. We'll see in a minute. Bit of a delay. It's not one-to-one. Let's see if we can go into the quality settings. We are already low. Get the frame rate high. Anti-aliasing off. We are pretty low quality now. Very blurry textures. Yes, almost not very playable, even on the lowest setting. So that's the two UHD adapters from CarlinKit. Very subtle differences. Some do things better than others. So it really comes down to what you plan on doing with your adapter, and that might set the rule as to which adapter is best for you. As for me, for my use, YouTube and things like that, the 660 has performed a lot better. All right, thanks for watching. I hope you found this video helpful. If it has, give us a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions about these two adapters, and I'll do my best to answer them. If you'd like to support my channel, you can send us a super thanks on YouTube or buy me a coffee. I really appreciate it. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers. Bye.